When I read 8, I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character. But, other than that, I can't really describe more, but it was as shocking to me to read what Ryan had written as I'm sure it will be for the audience. When I read 7, I said, I love everybody's part except mine. And on this one, it was similar in the sense that I said to Ryan, I'm so surprised how you see Luke.
It's not important if it's of high quality, only if it makes money.
Did your vision and Ryan's vision, did it coincide with the way that Luke ends up in this film that you thought it would all these years later?
No.
No, not at all.
He warned us. He fucking warned us. We just didn't know how right he was until after the movie. If there was any character in this movie that got fucking shafted the most, without a doubt, it's Luke Skywalker, hands down. Luke Skywalker, this farm boy turned rebel soldier, trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, the son of Darth Vader and the Last Jedi, is portrayed as a grumpy old man who is depressed after trying to murder his fucking nephew and losing his Jedi Academy, to the point where he goes to some uncharted planet, Octo, to weigh out his days, drinking green milk from the fucking udder of an animal until he dies. That's it. What they did to his fucking character is criminal. Like, there is no way the Luke Skywalker we all know from the movies and other material after that, who would have sacrificed himself to turn his father back to the light, would ever try and murder his nephew for sensing some darkness in him. He's family, just like his father was. He would never do that. And Luke was at the peak of his life at that point. I mean, what could have been wrong in his life that he could have thought of such an irrational move? He had an academy. He was training new Jedi. He was training a fucking relative who was really strong in the Force. Like, he could have had anything he ever wanted. His life was pretty much set. It was perfect. Why? There was no reason why he would have even considered that kind of thought. And I refuse to fucking believe it. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. In the trailers and whatnot, they advertise about how his line where he says the Jedi need to end. It's the end of the Jedi and whatnot. He makes this very apparent in the movie. Like, he tells us to Rey on multiple occasions, the Jedi were a failure. They let Darth Sidious come to power and got themselves destroyed. They don't deserve to be around anymore. Like, their way of life and religion is flawed. It's all about balance, not about the light and the dark. And that's all nice and all, but literally all of that was fucking disregarded at the end of the movie when he's facing Kylo Ren. He basically name drops that Rey is the last Jedi, not him. Motherfucker, were you not just saying throughout this entire movie that the Jedi needed to end on multiple occasions to both yourself, to Ghost Yoda, and Rey? What happened to that? What's the change of heart? Did you just completely fucking ignore everything he said there? Is that even the same Luke Skywalker? Ridiculous. Like, and why her? Why her? You didn't train her. You didn't, like, she has this connection with Kylo Ren. She's easily tempted by the dark side. Like, why? Why is she the last Jedi? Just the worst possible choice. I don't understand. Like, what is the logic behind that? And his fucking death. Oh my god, his death. So he projects this false version of himself, this apparition, to Kylo Ren on the Salt Planet. And he serves as a distraction while the Resistance is looking for an escape. First, Kylo Ren bombards him with lasers, but he, like, from all the ships and AT-ATs that are present there, and just unload all kinds of firepower. And then he walks out. Wow. That's pretty impressive. And so then he confronts him one-on-one, and they start this duel. But Luke uses this blue lightsaber, the one that was just destroyed in the movie, and Kylo doesn't seem to notice that for some reason. He doesn't notice the fucking lightsaber that he just ripped in half on Snoke's starship. So the duel goes down, and Luke says some things, which I'll admit, there's some pretty good lines, kind of references to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, I'll become more powerful than you possibly imagine if you strike me down, yada yada yada. And Kylo Ren realizes it's a ruse, and the vision fades away, the apparition fades away, and we cut to Luke sitting crisscrossed and on that same rock or whatever from earlier in the movie, and he's like exhausted. He's looking up in the sky, and he sees the sun rising, and then a second sun rises, and then they play the Luke theme from A New Hope, the one you all know, the one that played for him on Tatooine, and then he dies. He vanishes like Yoda and Obi-Wan. What the fuck? I get what they were trying to do with his death. Like, they gotta show the reference to Tatooine. That's where he was born. Or actually, no, that's not where he was born, but that's where he was raised. That's where he grew up. That's where he had a family. That's where he was before everything changed in his life. And it's just like a callback to that. But it doesn't go with the previous part. Like, you pick one. You either have him sacrifice himself to Kylo Ren, buying time for the Resistance, and becoming a martyr for their cause, rallying more people like Luke Skywalker, the legendary Jedi. He gave his life to stop the First Order, something like that. Or you just have him die peacefully like Yoda and, vanish away as his cloak falls down. But you just can't do both. Like, doing both together, it doesn't make any sense. It actually makes zero sense. Like, Disney fucking butchered that character. And I honestly feel bad for Mark Hamill. Like, he cared for that character. At least more than Harrison Ford did, but that's not saying much, really. And he said in interviews, like, when he looked at the script, he was very surprised. And I think deep down he thought, wow, this is hot garbage. Like, this is really bad. And in those interviews, he said what he could, as honestly as he could. I mean, he couldn't, condemn it fully. That's just, they wouldn't let him do that. He has to promote the movie, and he understands that. He still did it. It's just, I'm glad that he had the balls to fucking say that it wasn't his particular vision for the character, and I'd be more willing to trust his opinion than that of Ryan Johnson or the writers or whatever. What a shame. What a shame, man. Could have done so much, so differently, and it's just wasted potential. Kind of like the rest of this movie. I wish I didn't have to say all these things about these characters in this movie, but I have to say something. Like, I know there's been a lot of, people that are very vocal about their opinion on this movie, whether they like it or not, and I'm not really, being original here. It's just, these are my thoughts, and I felt the need to share them. Like, I've been a Star Wars fan for the longest time. I grew up with both the prequels and the original trilogy. I remember going to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters when I was like 8, something like that. Like, I've had Star Wars around me my whole life, and I've loved it. And I looked at the new trilogy with optimism. I liked The Force Awakens for what it was. I liked Rogue One for what it was. They weren't perfect. No, not perfect at all. But I still enjoyed them, even after watching it on the theaters. Like, watching it back on my couch. It's just, with this movie, it's such a mess and such a fucking train wreck that I don't think I'm even gonna watch it, like, any time in the foreseeable future. Like, there's no, like, I would normally watch Star Wars movies, multiple times with my family, my friends, and all that, but I have no desire to ever watch this movie ever again. I know people are gonna say, oh, you gotta watch the second time or a third time, you'll like it better. That shouldn't be an excuse at all. You should have to watch the movie one time and be able to just make a valid opinion from there. Like, I'm not buying that I have to watch it multiple times in order to actually appreciate it. It was that bad. Like, I hope that there is still hope for this trilogy. I mean, 9, I don't know where they're gonna go with 9, but I just hope it isn't like this again. because I understand Disney is trying to attract a new crowd for Star Wars. They want a new generation, but that doesn't mean you fuck over the old one. It does mean you fuck over the actual, like, the fans that have been with you for decades, the fans that are really invested in the material, both on screen and in the expanded universe. That's just wrong. Anyways, I'm rambling way too much. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what you think, and if I should make more talking about other parts of the movie, like the writing, the plot holes, that sort of thing. But there's probably plenty of other videos you can watch for that. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and catch you next time.